Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, today I want to look at some players who deserve more of a chance at your club. There are plenty of footballers who haven't been given enough game time so far this season in the Premier League, so I'm going to pick out one player from each club who deserves more minutes. Quick bit of admin though before we start. This is my last video before Christmas, so I hope you all have a grand old time doing whatever it is you're doing, and make sure you stay safe. It's been another great year for HITC, but if you don't subscribe already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell as well, as we continue on the road to 500k. And if you already do subscribe, thank you, and why not check out our other channel Expo for some good old fashioned FIFA and Football Manager content this Christmas. I'll pop a link in the description below. Anyway, Arsenal Emile Smith-Rowe. I mean Christ, I could have picked anyone from Arsenal, as Arteta just seems insistent on playing the same old players each and every week, then being surprised when they don't win once again. It's bordering on insanity. If you told me 5 years ago that Mesut Ozil couldn't even get in the Arsenal squad, I thought bloody hell, how good's their team, they must be winning the title every year. But no, they're a little bit in a relegation battle right now. Well, kind of. It's just funnier to call it that. While they've struggled in the Premier League, the Gunners have looked decent in the Europa, with lots of young players thriving. And one of them deserves a shot in the league, and that's Emile Smith-Rowe. This young lad's a creator, it's as simple as that. Arsenal need an injection of invention, and that's exactly what he'll bring. Although Arteta's more likely to stick with Whelan after being impressed with his ability to slow down play once again. Aston Villa Jacob Ramsey. The young midfielder got his chance in the starting 11 the other week, making his first Premier League start in the kind of derby against Wolves. He got his chance due to injury, but he's certainly impressed and never shied away from getting on the ball despite having huge pressure on his shoulders. I mean, I'd be crapping my pants if I was making my first Premier League start and I'm in centre midfield up against a legend like João Moutinho. Ramsey probably used to sign him on Footy Manager when he was a bairn. Suppose he still is a bairn actually. But Ramsey was excellent, brave and tidy in possession, and he definitely deserves some more minutes in the coming weeks and months, regardless of injuries to his teammates. Brighton Alexis McAllister. When you think of an Argentinian number 10, the majority of people immediately go to Lionel Messi, but not Brighton fans. Their first thought is of Alex McAllister sitting on the bench playing with his pristine beard while his Seagulls teammates yet again waste another chance and fall to defeat. Brighton are a weird one, as they play such lovely football, yet the results don't match. In contrast, you've got someone like Newcastle who just can't pass the ball to save their lives, yet they're able to grind out results and pick up points. He's had injury bother which has hindered him, but McAllister definitely deserves more of a chance at Brighton. He's a young lad, sure, but already this season he's got 3 goals in all competitions, and that's exactly what Graham Potter's side are missing. Burnley Jack Cork. Right, picking someone for Burnley's impossible. The squad's so small and injury-ridden that if you're capable of running on one leg, you get in a game. Sean Dyche has had limited options this season, but there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel, with key players returning and results improving. And one man they've massively missed is Jack Cork. He's the man who controls things in the middle of the park, and his absence through injury has been a big issue for the Clarets. But he's due back now, and obviously deserves more minutes, on account of physically being able to play now. Chelsea Billy Gilmour. This young lad was excellent at the start of the year when he got his chance under Frank Lampard, and we probably would have seen a lot more of him had he not picked up an injury. But he's back now, and Frank Lampard needs to get him back into his midfield. Sure, he's only a teenager, but he's wise beyond his years on the ball, and can definitely play an important role over Christmas when Chelsea's expensive and lavish squad is going to be stretched. It actually upsets me, you know. Billy Gilmour was born in 2001. He's only 19 and he's already a Premier League midfielder. Stuff like this just makes me feel old. Excuse me while I cry at my bottle of beer and gorge myself on Christmas cake. Crystal Palace Michy Batshuayi. When Batshuayi first went to Palace, he was excellent. The Belgian got 5 goals in 11 appearances, which led to a lot of excitement when he returned for a second loan spell. However, this one hasn't gone quite as planned. Palace are a team that struggle for goals, so it baffles me that more often than not they've got Michy Batshuayi just sitting on the bench, struggling to keep his eyes open as Roy Hodgson's side put in another mind-numbing performance. I mean, when Benteke is getting in the team ahead of you, you need to start asking some questions. And not only that, Benteke started scoring again in some sort of Christmas miracle, which only dents Batshuayi's hopes of playing further. Ah well, could be worse, could be Max Meyer. Everton Bernard. Speaking of players who live on the bench, Bernard's been there at Goodison so long he should probably be paying rent. Everton fans will know better than me, but I always thought Bernard was alright when he played, especially since he arrived on a free. He's bloody quick too, which probably explains why his hairline's so far back. Give it up mate, either get a hair transplant or shave it all off. Anyway, I think Bernard deserves some minutes under Carlo Ancelotti, not necessarily starting, just some appearances off the bench when he can use his pace on the counter. Fulham Joe Bryan. This one's quite harsh on Anthony Robinson, as he's looked pretty good to be honest. Clearly he's over the whole AC Milan transfer debacle that threatened to ruin his life. But Fulham's squad have all had a fair crack to be honest, with varying degrees of success. The only one who might feel he's been given a rough deal, other than Jean-Michel Seri of course, is Joe Bryan, the man whose goals got Fulham to the Premier League. Then again, he wasn't the team at the start of the season. Around the time they were shipping 4 goals each and every week. Leeds Ian Pervader. This guy's looked really exciting whenever he's played under Marcelo Bielsa, but seriously, he must be the only 20-year-old in the country called Ian. To think, on the 9th of February 2000, his parents decided to call him Little Baby Ian. Anyway, he often looks good off the bench, and I think Bielsa should start going to that well a bit more often, and if he starts to play more, he'll likely improve, and then he can be a starter rather than just an impact sub. I mean, he must have some talent just based on his youth career. He was at Chelsea, Arsenal, Barcelona, Brentford, then Man City. He's only 20 years old. He's played for more clubs than some people have had hot dinners. Leicester City, Kelechi Iheanacho. This probably has something to do with Jamie Vardy playing absolutely brilliantly, but poor Kelechi Iheanacho has probably got frostbite from sitting on the bench for so long. The Nigerian's been resigned to start in the Europa League, which I suppose is okay, but if I was him I'd want to be in the Premier League team alongside Vardy. Liverpool, Reece Williams. Injuries have been a huge problem for Jurgen Klopp this season, with Virgil van Dijk being assaulted by Jordan Pickford before Joe Gomez was ruled out too when he was on England duty. It's forced Jurgen Klopp to be creative, with Fabinho doing an excellent job there, as well as Jordan Henderson filling in from time to time. Well, I think he did it once. It's also handed opportunities to young players, and one of them in Reece Williams certainly deserves more minutes. The poor lad was playing non-league last season out on loan, then he had to make his Premier League debut against Son Heung-min and Harry Kane. He more than held his own though, and Klopp should continue to give him minutes before splashing out on a replacement defender. Man City, Aymeric Laporte. Christ, Liverpool having to play the kids while Pep Guardiola can afford to leave Aymeric Laporte on the bench. Honestly, I don't understand it. The Frenchman is one of the best defenders in the Premier League. He'd probably be held in a much higher regard if he hadn't had so many injuries. I know John Stones is playing well, but surely Man City's best centre-back pairing is obviously Ruben Dias and Laporte. Surely there's got to be space for him in the team, like even play 3 at the back, put him at left back, just don't leave him on the bench collecting dust. Man United, Donny van de Beek. An easy one here, Donny van de Beek absolutely deserves more minutes. Seriously, why even sign him if you got no intention of playing him? Plenty of other clubs would have happily taken the Dutchman, who looks a lot like Arvin from Modern Family for fans of that show. But anyway, I don't understand how Paul Pogba is consistently getting chance after chance, despite his agent crying like a baby saying his client wants to leave. All the while Van de Beek's just sat there, waiting to see which obscure position Solskjaer lets him play for 10 minutes as if he's reading the Kama Sutra. Newcastle United, Ryan Fraser. Injury and lack of fitness has hindered Ryan Fraser's start at Newcastle, but whenever he has featured he's looked decent, so Steve Bruce needs to find a way to get him in his starting 11 alongside St Maximin and Miguel Almiron. I mean, Newcastle are pretty crap to be honest, they might as well just go all out attack and just see what happens. It's either that or they just keep signing Bournemouth players, change the kit from black and white to red and black, and eventually just relocate down south and become Bournemouth B team. Sheffield United, Ryan Brewster. A lot of clubs were after Ryan Brewster this summer, and a lot of Liverpool fans wanted him to stay at Anfield. That's how highly rated he is, which makes it all the more baffling at how little he's played. Goals are the issue at Bramall Lane, so goodness knows why their expensive striker is never in the starting 11. Ryan Brewster's a goal scorer, that's why it costs £23.5 million. Unless Chris Wilder just brought him to wash his car and do the weekly Astor shop. Southampton, Mohamed Salisu. He hasn't played because of injury, but Salisu is a player who Saints fans should be very excited to see. The Ghanaian's finally fit once again and is just waiting for an opportunity. He'd likely get one over Christmas, when the fixture schedule is so relentless that he probably wishes he was still injured, or at least back in Spain when they get a winter break. Tottenham, Dele Alli. Poor Dele Alli, it's all gone a bit Pete-Tong, hasn't it? When Mourinho first arrived, Dele Alli was the immediate shining light, and the one player in particular who was thriving under the new boss. The goals were flowing, then suddenly he was out of favour. It was almost as soon as the Amazon documentary went live that Ali was dropped from the team. Maybe he's more of a Netflix man, I guess. He'd rather watch the wild and wacky world of Riverdale than relive his own manager tell him how shit he is. But Ali should be playing in this Tottenham team, even if it is just off the bench. Right now, all he's getting is about 30 seconds at the end of each game while Mourinho plays for time. West Brom, Kyle Edwards. I can't see it happening now with Sam Allardyce taking charge, but I reckon one of West Brom's youngsters in Kyle Edwards can feel aggrieved by his lack of minutes, especially since Matt Phillips sends most of his crosses into Rose Ed. Edwards will run at plays and make things happen. Sure, it might not work every time, but he's willing to take risks, which is what West Brom need if they're going to survive. West Ham, Said Benrahma. Signed in October from Brentford, it's only now that Said Benrahma is starting to get a proper shot in this West Ham team. He's been one of the Championship's best players for a while now, so it was inevitable that he'd get a crack in the Premier League, and David Moyes needs to keep giving him more and more minutes, otherwise he'll wish he stayed at Brentford. West Ham are doing well this season, and they'll likely get even better the more Benrahma plays. Wolves' Ryan Ait-Nouri. Wolves' move to a back four has probably hindered Nouri's chances of extra minutes, but when he has played he's impressed, proving to be a creative outlet in a position where Wolves are missing main man Johnny Otto. I mean, that goal he got against Palace was bloody lovely. Realistically though, I just want to play more so there's another cheap option for fantasy football. Seriously, I need all the help I can get. So there we have it, there's one player from each club who deserves more minutes this season. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HITC Sport. And until next time, we will see you around. Merry Christmas.